Hi dear students, today we are going to continue studying how to solve some problems using the laws of sines and cosines. Look, in this case dear students, they are asking us to find x, and x is not a sine, this is an angle. So now we are going to look for the measure of this angle using this formula. Look, it is a little bit different than the one that we used yesterday when we were looking for the measure of sides. The other one is A over sine of A equals B over sine of B equals C over sine of C. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing that we were doing yesterday. We are going to write here the information that we have, and we are going to check if we have a pair. We are going to use the law of sines. If we don't have a pair, we are going to use the law of cosines. Okay, let's see. Do we have the A angle? No, so we are going to write a line here. Do we have the side A? No. Okay. Do we have the angle B? This is the one that we have to look for. Okay, so this is the one that we are going to look for. B, the side B. Yes, we have it, 2.3. Good. And then the measure for the angle C, 43 degrees. And the measure for C, yes, we have it. This is 3.5 centimeters. Okay. Now, as you can see, we have a pair in C. Once we have a pair, we are able to use this law of sines formula. Okay. And as this is the angle that we're looking for, remember, we're not going to use the A, nor the angle or the side. So we're going to use just this part, this information. Okay, so let's write it here. So we have B, which is the measure of the angle. But B is the sine of B, so we're going to write sine of B over B, which is 2.3, equals the sine of C over the measure of the side C, 3.5. And once we have this, we solve for B. But careful, because we are going to solve for B, not for sine of B. So I want to have the B, just the B, okay? Only the B. Okay, now we are going to do this. Sine of B equals, this 2.3 is dividing. I'm going to pass it multiplying. Sine of C times 2.3 over 3.5. And then, dear students, as we have to solve for B, we're going to have this. B equals, I'm very careful in this part. When we are solving for the angle, the trigonometric ratio is going to pass to the other side, but as an inverse ratio. So we're going to have the inverse sine of all this. Sine of C times 2.3 divided by 3.5. Okay, so try to get this in your scientific calculator, and let me tell you what you have to get. Here I have it. Okay, so I'm going to write this. The inverse sine of all this must give you 0.4481 7. Okay, and then you get the inverse sine of this number, and we get that B equals 26.6 degrees. Okay, perfect. So careful, when you look for measure of angles, you have to do this process and you have to use this formula, okay? So when you solve for the angle, you have to apply the inverse trigonometric ratios, okay? Remember, when we look for the measure of sides, we use the trigonometric ratios, but when we are looking for measure of angles, we use the inverse trigonometric ratios always, okay? Good. Now we're going to see another example. We're going to see. Thanks.